All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 6th, 2011. We're going to go over the trades that we took here this morning in the live trading room. It's been a mixed up day today. The Dow opened down about 200, right about where it is right now, down about 212 points, 211, 212 points, something like that. It dropped another 90 or so points from there. It retraced all of that and then a little bit more. And now we're right back around where we opened up, I believe. We can take a look at that better over here. Let's just look at this on the ES 7-minute chart. I'll be able to show once that loads. This was the gap between Friday and when the markets opened on Sunday. Okay. Let me scroll back a little bit. Here it is right here. The gap between Friday's close and the open on Sunday, I believe that was about 17.5 points. Then we had a little gap between Sunday's close and this morning's open right here. That was only about a 4-point gap, I believe. But altogether, the gap from Friday's close and the open this morning, which was down here, I believe was about 27 points, which is pretty significant. Now, this was our open this morning, 41 and change on the ES, and right now you can see the ES is up to about 52, so we're up about 10 points off the open, but it did drop down before it moved back up. Now, I'm going to jump over here to the 4-tick range on the ES and blow it up so you can get a better look at the whole thing. The trades that I did take are in yellow, and other trades that set up that I did not take are in orange. Okay. Now, first thing this morning, we had a bubble here and a pullback to the BBC in here, but this was inside the box, so we didn't go long there. Okay. We had another pullback to the BBC right here, but we didn't have a bubble down here to match it, so we waited until we got a bubble and a pullback over here. We got into that trade. It went a little better than a point in our direction. I moved my stop up to break even. It came back, took me out of break even. Then the market dropped down a little bit, and it went up to the profit target. Okay, and that's pretty much the story of the day with the ES. We didn't take this trade here because it was going right into that area right there. Up here it was really choppy. We didn't have any setups. You see, this was on a news event right here. ISM came out this morning. And it was on a news event. There was no trade opportunity in there. Finally, we got another bubble here and a pullback up to the BBC. I had missed this one this morning. I was in a YM trade at the time, and I was actively managing the YM trade, so I missed this one. The odd thing is the YM trade was a long here that was working well, and the CS trade ended up working out. Okay, so I missed that one. Then the market just got a little messy right in here, right around this area right here. Okay, it pulled back down here and it gave us a huge bubble, but by the time it pulled back to the BBC way over here, we had upsloping bottoms, so I didn't take this short trade right in here that presented itself. That went on, to go to wherever the profit target would have been. However, I did not take that. Then we had a bubble over here, a nice big bubble, and it pulled back right here, and we were trying to enter long right here at the BBC, but it didn't pull back far enough to enter us. Okay. The next opportunity, we barely had a little tiny bubble right here. When it was developing, it seemed big enough. So I took a long trade right here, and that gave us 5 or 6 ticks. Again, I moved my stop up to break even, and again it came back and took me out at break even. It dropped down. After taking me out at break even, it dropped down here within a tick of the stop, the original stop, and then it went up and it hit the original profit target. So that one, had I not been aggressive with my risk management, would have been okay too. The final trade of the morning on the ES was right here. This was after we had shut down the morning session. Okay, it pulled back down to the BBC. We had a little bit of a bubble right there, and it pulled back to the BBC for an entry. That went up to the swing high right here. I don't know if it went to the. It would have been looking 49.5 up to 51 quarter. No, so that would have been a break even for me anyway. I would have moved my stop up to break even on that one and gotten stopped out over here at break even. But that was the morning on the ES. Unfortunately, there was not a lot of ES activity. But if we look at the YM, let me shrink this up so you can see it a little better. You can see I took quite a few trades here on the YM this morning. We started out over here with a short trade. Now we had a bearish cross right here on the YM. Price moved down, it pulled back up to the BBC. I took a short trade right here for a few ticks profit. It moved 10 points in my direction, and then I moved my stop to break even plus a few ticks, and I got stopped out at break even plus a few ticks. Now we had some divergence right here. We had bearish divergence. So I took the close down below the MA1 right here. Now that again moved 10 points in my direction, and I moved my stop up to break even, and it came back and got me a break even. Alright, the market got pretty choppy right in here, so we didn't trade it all right in here. Then price moved up above this area, then pulled back down. After having a bullish cross right here, it pulled back down to the BBC. At that point I entered long, and I traded it all the way back up to the MA1 right here. Alright, that gave me I think 30 ticks on that. Just about 30 points roughly on that one. Alright, so at this point I was up a little over 30 points, 30, 31 points, something like that. Price dropped down below the BBC right here, okay? And I was following my order down, waiting for it to pull back up to the BBC. Okay, we had the bearish cross right here. I was waiting for the pull back up to the BBC. And I took a divergence trade here. Once we had this divergence, I got a couple of ticks out of that. Price pulled back, but it didn't pull all the way back. Then I took another divergence trade right in here, and I got a couple of ticks out of that. Oh, actually, this one here I got to break even on. This one, when it finally pulled back up to the BBC, though, I took that trade, and I believe I got 20 ticks out of that, or pretty close to 20 ticks out of that. Alright, then I took another divergence trade right here on the close below the MA1, and I ended up getting a break even on that. I moved my stop up pretty quickly when it had 7 points profit in it. I believe I moved my stop up to break even, and I took a break even trade on that. Then we had our bullish cross here. Alright, I didn't take this trade right here, the first pullback. I didn't take that going into the weekly trading zone because it was going into the weekly trading zone, and the Dow at the time was down about 290 points. Now over here, this one I took, this was after the morning session was over, and I was just sitting here, but I took it, I typed in this here for anybody that was watching at the time. Look for the up close above the BBC, and that happened on this bar right here. Alright, I took that one up to the MA1. I got just a few ticks out of it, but it was going up to the MA1 is what I was looking for. The next thing to look for after that would have been a divergence trade, which would have meant a close up above the MA1. Now, if it closes this far up above the MA1, I like to see it pull back toward the MA1 a little bit, which would have been right down in this area for a nice move, another nice 20-point move up. But as things stand, we ended the morning, the ES, no profit, 2 trades, I think, maybe 3. And the YM plus 52 points. Okay, that is how we ended the morning session. Here, let me put that a little wider for you so you can see it. That's how we ended the morning session today. And all things said, I was pretty happy with that. The Dow right now is it's at minus 189, 190, right in that range. So it's it's oscillating right here, right around this minus 200 level. All things considered, that's higher than it opened. All right, that's about 20 points higher than it opened. It opened at about minus 210, 211. All right, so we're just going to watch that. Watch for trades on the long side here and see if it's going to keep moving up. All right.